you so much. Thank you very much. Good morning, Sri Raju Sharma ji. Good morning, Neeraj Jain ji. And good morning, Madam Amandeep ji. Your gracious acceptance and affection towards Remold would always be a great thing, and we owe very much to you. Today, we are going to have a wonderful session on destructive financial mistakes people do. Remold. Be the winner, don't be a loser. This is an essential platform for motivation, personality development, leadership, corporate training, and AP SET and UGC NET. We conduct national level events to bring awareness. Be the winner, don't be a loser is tagline. People in the present scenario have been facing several tumultuous changes both in their lives and professional arenas. They need confidence, satisfaction, and meaning in their lives. Remold builds confidence and makes people feel less anxious and more dynamic within the sphere of their active life events and professional journey. We at Remold are committed to provide the meaningful training in both leadership and corporate training, meeting the expectations of the novice trainers, educational institutions, and various other corporate bodies in serving rightly for the better output and excellence. The aspirants of University Grants Commission approved state level eligibility test AP SET and National Eligibility Test NET will be guided perfectly during their preparation to get qualified as the lecturers and the assistant professors. We train all sections of people for their exponential growth in the professions they are in. Students will be trained for better emotional intelligence. Teachers, employees, and budding entrepreneurs will be trained for their upskilling, reskilling, and better enhancement of attitudinal change towards embracing the change in achieving the outstanding results in their professions. Quality is our motto. Making our stakeholders win is our mission. Mr. Raju Lochan Sharma lives in Delhi. He is an engineer by profession. He is self motivated and believes in bringing out the hidden talent. He has worked with different industries and headed the training in his last assignment, where he worked closely with frontliners for nurturing people, team building, and behavioral skills. Raju, with his 30 plus years of rich experience and still learning, made himself a person of diversified talent and expertise. Mr. Raju Lochan Sharma is an alumnus of the Indian Academy of Training and Development IITD. He is the best trainer and coach for various corporate bodies and educational institutions. Miss Amandeep Kaur is from New Delhi. She did her MBA in finance. She is a cost and management accountant by profession and IBBI registered valuer as well. She has been in the practice besides having 10 years of corporate experience in finance and valuation services. Her business tagline is Value Your Business. She's a young entrepreneur. She works very passionately and competently. As per her, if we can balance our money, half of life will be balanced. She strongly believes in the powerful money mantra that money is not God, but certainly not less than God. She is a certified trainer from IITD. She has delivered her best speeches on self efficacy and gave everyone the best possible takeaways to gain any sort of skill wisely. She is a renowned orator and entrepreneur. Mr. Neeraj Jain is the founder and partner in Gainmal Hemraj Capital Advisors, Faridabad, Haryana. He did a Bachelor of Commerce in 1991 from Punjab University, Chandigarh. He is a certified advisor for NCFM modules, mutual funds advisor, derivatives dealer, capital markets dealer, currency derivatives beginner. He has more than 11 years of experience in capital markets, advising more than 1,100 customers for long term investments. Gyanmal Hemraj Capital Advisors provides investment solutions for its clients. He deals in various financial instruments and provides a variety of investment services to his clients. He does research based investment recommendations for all clients who wish to invest for long term higher earnings. He is also a business associate of Dalal and Brocha, Mumbai. Mr. Neeraj Jain is an efficient advisor in bonds and tax free bonds. His clients receive high end fruitful services in this area. He also advises in corporate fixed deposits CFDs and mutual funds MFs. In addition to that, he is an able advisor in minors, depository services, NRIs, valuation, and advisory services for all clients in equity, MF, and debt. He educates people across the world by conducting financial literacy seminars. That's all now for about our esteemed guest. Thank you so much. This topic is something that we just thought of having in the new year, as this is going to be a very brilliant one since money makes many things. People without money cannot live in this world. If they feel that they can still make money, how about savings? If they still can save money, how about the ratio? People in India, even abroad, are they really concerned about families' finances? How far would we just be complacent enough as we are okay with the finances? And how far we can keep our future generations at risk, as future will be rather risksome as well as tough to deal with. If the elders in the family do not give much importance to the financial gains as well as the healthy and fatty financial status, how about the future of the kids in the families? Children, their education, afterwards marriages, and the elderly people in the family, their health. So these are various questions. They keep pestering in our brains always. We people are ignorant of these factors. 60 out of 100 are always not so much concerned about saving money. They spend lavishly. 40% are just mediocre. In this context, today's national conclave will focus and throw light on this integral factor, how we can go about it. Our esteemed guests are here. They would just give us valuable inputs. Now I just request our one of the guests, Mr. Raju Lochan Sharma ji from Delhi. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Naga. Thanks a lot. Thanks for nice introduction and very crisp and very to the point. So I will just go for that now. My presentation. Okay. So good morning, friends, and welcome to this conclave. I thank you, Mr. Naga, for the invite and sharing my views with all of you. So, as Mr. Naga mentioned, that today's topic is destructive financial mistakes people do. So, as we know that there are so many mistakes which normally people do knowingly or unknowingly, and later on faced the problem that then at the later stage they've realized that that was my bad decision, or that decision was not right. I should have saved or done this thing in some other way. So these are some things, some points which I would like to bring on the table to for the benefit of all. So does that destroy their financial lives? Yes, of course. This type of decisions, wrong decisions, and these mistakes destroys the financial lives, and people face a financial crisis at a later stage. So what are those? We'll go one by one quickly. So buying insurance as an investment. So this is one mistakes which normally people do. 90% people make these mistakes, and they are so many things because once this privatization of all these private companies entered in India in somewhere around in 2000 and 2002, many of the companies were having their was wanted to have the share in the market because earlier the only LIC was there, life insurance corporation, who was the biggest player. Even today it is the biggest player, but to get the market share from that, they offered so many things, things, and do the wrong selling to the customers also. It's a 3 years buying and then you can withdraw your money, such type of wrong claims. And uh, there was a lot of lucrative things were shown to the customers, whereas which was not the fact, and very many people lose their money in that. So, and many of the people who go for the insurance, they do not understand the difference between what is a term plan, what is a ULIP. ULIP means unit linked insurance plan, and endowment plan. And they buy whatever their agents or whatever their uh, advisor suggests to them. And advisor suggests only those things to the people in which they are having their maximum incentive or the commission. So this is one of the taglines. So people do not do research. And earlier now, after there were a lot of complaints were there with the regulatory authority IRDA, then IRDA has taken some very good steps and now restricted all these commissions are reduced and the mis-selling was stopped. But still people are doing that because they are still not very much aware. As a matter of fact, in India, the penetration level of insurance is only 6 to 7% even today. Having a 150 crore, 130 crores, the population, you just consider 6% is only covered. And out of that also, one person is having multiple insurances. So it is not even 6% is that. So if you consider that, it may further come down. So that is one big mistake people do. What is term plan? One must understand what is term plan, what is ULIP, and what is endowment plan. And as per their target, as per their requirements, one should buy the plan only. Next is credit card. Credit card is one of the very good thing which is offered by our banks. And if someone uses this wisely, he can get very good outputs from that. But normally, very few people, hardly 2 to 4% people are there who use the credit card wisely. But the rest of the people are getting trapped in the credit card. And how they are getting trapped? They buy because credit card does not need any of the cash in hand. It is a plastic money which has been which is considered, and you have to pay on a future date. So paying on a future date is the biggest attraction to the people, and in that many times it happens they go beyond their payback limits. Limits they have been crossed. So once they are crossing the payback limits or the making the payment of the due amount, so bank has also offered the minimum amount due. So what is the minimum amount? If suppose you have purchased a 10,000 rupees, done the purchase of 10,000 rupees from credit card, and 5% could be the minimum amount which can be paid. So 500 rupees payment and your credit card will continue. It will not stop. You can do the purchasing for the rest of the limit available with that. But paying this minimum amount really a big trap, because in that whatever the amount is left, the bank charge a heavy interest on that, and not only on that particular remaining amount, whatever you are going to purchase for next month or the for next cycle, that is also be charged for the interest because of you have paid the minimum amount. This is the terms and condition of the bank. So this is one of the biggest trap which normally people get trapped in that. I suggest not to pay the minimum amount. Always make the full payment to the bank, whatever the amount you have done. And one more, converting to EMI. So this is one of the option which is given by bank to the customers. So if you have done any big purchases, I mean the purchase of a big amount, maybe some 10,000, 15,000, or 24,000, 20,000, maybe more than that. In that case, bank offers you the EMI option. Of course, EMI is something which can be split the amount in maybe 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months time, depending on the person to person's choice. But in that case also, suppose I have done a payment 60,000 of the purchase and converted that to the 6 EMIs of 10,000 each. 10,000 means it is the 10,000 plus the interest part will be payable every month for the next 6 months to me. But that amount with the EMI, whatever is coming, that is reducing your if that is the reducing your purchasing power. I mean the limit minus EMI is the total only amount left with the customer which he can be used for that. Very few people are there who utilize this credit card and enjoy the benefit like free lounge or free movie tickets and credit limits. So my suggestion is that, or my takeaway is that credit card is one of the good thing if it is used wisely. But if someone get trapped, it is always better to come out from the trap of this interest part, because that is the main earning of the banks against credit card, and that's why they offer you free renewal, no this charges, that charges, benefits. But how many people get the benefit of that? Hardly 2%. But rest of 90% or 80% people are trapped into the interest amount and paying the interest over and above of their purchases also. And that interest, of course, is they are going to pay from their earnings only. So that is one thing. Another, we are very much attracted towards the discounts and sale, the big billion day sale, the one-time sale in Flipkart, Amazon, and Ganesh Utsava, buy two get six, buy one get three. These type of sales. These type of sales normally attract people. Whereas if you see such earlier, if you can just go back some 20, 25 years back, we have in India 3 national holidays. What is that? 26th January, 15th August, and 2nd October. If you remember, the early 20-25 years back, these 3 days were the totally closed days, whole market, everything, all offices, only the essential services were working, like railways, transport, and airlines. But all the markets and everything was closed. But nowadays, starting from January to December, if you see the one sale after another, one sale after another is keep coming based on the location, region, Pongal, and you can say that Navratri sale or the Dashera sale, Diwali sale, 26th year sale, 70 Independence sale. So all these, rather than big billion day sales, this type of sales are available. But people get attracted on this particular thing, like they are getting something extra discount, whereas nothing is there. No extra discount. No company is going to pay from their pockets. And this is just a trap in which people or the normal customer, a common man, get trapped and spend their hard-earned money. And in such cases, normally people buy those stuff which are not even required immediately or maybe required after some time. No harm in buying the things in discount, but normally if it is a really a requirement, of course you go and buy it, but don't get trapped. That is my personal suggestion to all of you. So this discount is one of the big trap in which people get, okay, so let us avoid all these things. And this also increase the impulsive buying and people get attracted to that. Weekend parties, of course, the culture has been developed in India, like flow of money has been increased for the last 15, 20 years when all these IT companies, people are coming there and they are getting good payouts also. And after getting passing out from their colleges, people are getting good money and less of the liabilities. So it is a new culture has been developed in our country, like 5 days work and 2 days party. That is like Western culture. And 5 days work, they work fully, and then from morning to evening spent very hard, work very hard, and the 2 days for Saturday and Sundays, weekends. They go to pubs, go to visit, go to nearby show, long drives and all those things, weekend parties. They do bomb spending on that, like going to pub, entry, spending on liquor and everything, dancing and all those things. Buying drinks, high entry fees is there for every pub and all those things. So this is another culture. I think we should avoid all this type of cultures, and because what it happens actually, because at the end of the thing, people are ending without any, they don't have any money in that. So this is one, weekend parties, another culture which can be avoided. Of course, parties are always welcome. People can do that, but not as a regular thing. It can be once in a month is okay, but every weekend it should be avoided, as per my personal my feeling or understanding. Next is buying stocks. As you can see, the stock market is going high. It is even has crossed some 46,000 benchmark, and so people are getting attracted. And one of the case was Harshad Mehta. You might have seen that, and there was a series also recently on the Netflix for the Harshad Mehta case. So this is one thing which is also attracting people nowadays, because some people who are really good in stock market, they are earning well. And but just looking to those people, many people get the attraction and attracted to share market. But problem is that they don't have any knowledge. What they do in India, everyone is an advisor, whatever the subject it means, especially for the, and they give the tips strongly whether they like an expert. So unfortunately, a lot of people get trapped in that. My friend has given this tip, he has made that much of money in stock market, he has invested 5 lakhs rupees, now his worth is around 15 lakhs of rupees. So whether, who knows how he has made, no one knows. And what they just invest on the basis of tips, and they, what is the result of that? It is, they ultimately, finally, at the end of the day, they are at loss, they lose their money. And then they just blame themselves or their friend, he has given me the wrong advice. No, nothing is the wrong advice, but people should understand what is the right thing they have done. They have, what is the wrong thing they have done. They should balance the right decision there, whether it is a right or wrong. So for that, so I would suggest here, rather than saving money, because it is take help of experts or professionals, which is there. Like so many companies are there who take very less less commission, but definitely give the expert advice. So there are so many companies who gives the, who hire the experts, who are the professional in this thing. They are today, their 24/7 job is to look at the share market, and how the investments should be made, which company, which brand, which particular share, which particular commodity. So they are the experts. So rather than going on the tips from friends or relatives, it is, I suggest that it is better to go for the experts advice or professionals advice, and then stock money. And they, people not only give you the uh, advice to invest in the right thing, but they will also help you in making your portfolio in a balanced manner, so that if in case there is any problem in one of the thing, at least some gain is there, so your money is safe. So this is one thing which people normally do not understand and go on tips. I am also a victim of that. I have also invested some money, whereas I lost. But finally, then I get out of that thing, and now I am taking help of only experts only, which is there, and I'm, so far I am very much satisfied with with my investments, and I'm getting good returns on it. My personal experience I am sharing with you. Lifestyle show off. This is one of the thing which is really thing. If taking a big house on rent, even if the nuclear family nowadays, you can see most of the families are very nuclear families are there, husband, wife, and makes him one or two children. So even for that, whether it is required, they buy a big house, whether it is required or not. So they go for a, I would, it is just because they are having good income, does not mean that they should spend in the rent, because rent is one thing which is not going to come back from them. It is hardly going to help them. Of course, maybe it can have some benefit in the income tax, but why it is required for that? People normally go for a big house, even for small families, which is not required. In my case, whenever a family grows, it is any time decision people can shift to the bigger house. But just for the sake of this, I'm in living such a big house, three bedroom or four bedroom house, whereas my family members are only, we are three people. Does not make any sense. This is one mistake I have seen nowadays with the young generation. Basically, I would say shifting to a 3 BHK flat from 2 BHK because you got a pay hike. And I would just see, from if you are shifting from a 2 BHK house to a 3 BHK house, definitely you are going to give that extra money to that for the buying of that now new house. Maybe for that buying the new house or the bigger house, one has to go for the loan. Then in that case, whatever the EMI was going for a 2 BHK house, the 3 BHK house EMI has to be higher than that in any case. So ultimately, that extra EMI part is going to be from your pocket only, is going from the one of the dent from the my income. So this is one of the things. So these are the lifestyle show off. Normally people do it without much of the thought. So this is one thing which pays them in long run, and then they say okay, their decisions were a mistake. They mistakenly do this, and many times nowadays people are very much mobile also, and many times it happens that they get a new offer at some different locations, some different things, at from Delhi to Bangalore, Bangalore to Chennai, Chennai to Mumbai, like that. And they keep on shifting also. They don't mind, because being a career-oriented person, one is ready to shift to the new location also. So in that case, they are buying the new house. They have already taking a rent at the new location, whereas paying the EMI for the other one, whether it is coming on rent is coming or not, it is not sure. So this is some lifestyle show off is one of the thing. And another thing, buying a high price car also, like whether it is required or not. I am buying a car, maybe for example, instead of a Jeep Compass, I am buying a Toyota Fortuner, which is costing right now some 50 lakhs of rupees, 47 to 50 lakhs of rupees. But if I'm buying, why I'm buying it? Because it has got the power, it has got the space. But okay, what exactly I have to do the power? Do I really go for that Formula One race for that? Or because in India, or the traffic is so much, and you can't buy even the 50 speed is more than sufficient, or even on highways, it is the 90 or 100 at the most. So, well, the power is going to help, of course, it is going to help, but how many times? Spacious, big one. So, for a nuclear family, Compass a 17 lakhs Compass versus a 50 lakhs of Fortuner is the one of the same thing, very much spacious for a family also, small family also. So and again, if you are buying a high price car, definitely the EMI has to be higher in that case. And in that case also, people, that extra part of the EMI is going to be from the my pocket only, from the person who is owning the car. And of course, the maintenance cost, running cost, everything, insurance part is also be higher for a high price car. So this is one of the things which I must say people must consider before going for such type of decisions. So ultimately, increase the EMI is, I mean, it's less money in hand. It results the less money in the hand. Next is lifestyle show off again. I suggest here that many people go for a very high priced items, appliances also. In my personal experience, I have seen that people are buying big 500 liters, 600 liters of the refrigerator. Whereas once they buy at the showroom and when the delivery comes at their home, I have personally witnessed it. That's why I'm just making it so strongly that when the product reaches at their home, they realize that, oh, my house door, the main door is not big enough, so it is not entering in my house. So they call the service centers. The service engineer goes there, then they unpack the material, then they try it, and it makes many times it happens that while trying from the taking the entry into the house of that new product, it gets damaged also. A lot of scratches or dents come on that. So my suggestion is that okay, rather than buying for a bigger thing, if it is required, definitely go for that. I don't say not to buy, but definitely if it is a requirement, if it is going to be used, if you are buying stuff for the entire week and then only storing in the refrigerator for the whole week, yes, you have to go for a bigger refrigerator. But is it required for a person who is going daily, or where the grocery and the vegetable seller is coming to their daily society or their streets? I don't think it is required. My personal say. Secondly, many people buy the washing machine fully automatic. Yes, it's very good thing. Fully automatic machine is one of the thing which reduces your stress and physical work. But nowadays, all the big houses are having their maids. Maids are basically not very educated things. So it is better to give the simple machine to operate to the maid. Even if you will buy a high price machine with fully automatic machine, IoT, based on the IoT, I mean the Internet on Things, everything, even though the machine has to be operated by maid, hardly 2% or 5% times the house lady or the owner or the lady of the house has to use that machine 5% or 10% time. 90% of the time it will be used by maid. So it is always better to give the maid the simplest thing where she can use those machines so that it will not uh, create any complications at a later date. So this is the lifestyle show off. Then getting tempted. Oh, someone my friend has, because Facebook and LinkedIn and everything is become a social media is very popular nowadays, and people are used to post their lot of photos where they are going and exotic locations when they have visited and put in the post and getting trapped tempted for that location. Oh, my friend has gone there, so I will also go. And for that they normally take a lot of loans or something like that, and or I mean spend their savings, take their FDs. And sometimes this is only the tempted part, basically, I would say. Otherwise, yes, going exploring new areas, new ways, new cities, new countries is a very good thing, but it is without getting tempted. Whenever you have good time, good money, enough money for that, you have saved money for that. Maybe it could be a target. You can save a particular amount of money every month so that it will be used for that vacation period with the family. It is okay. But getting a loan or taking a personal loan or breaking the FDs for the just to get that location because my friend or my sister or my relative has visited that place. So I have also owned, and I will also put my pictures on my social media just to get the attraction of the people is not a good idea in my case. Next, power of compounding. I think, am I going too fast? If anyone can tell me better.
It's going well, going well.
Okay, thank you. So, power of compounding. This is one thing. Even Albert Einstein has once said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who does not pays it. This is one thing which is a very effectively said Albert Einstein many years back, but it is very much applicable in today's life. People know it, but very few people act on it. Early start always give an advantage. Early start always give an advantage, and I would say I have just have one illustration here for your screen. This is one of the SIPs. SIP means systematic investment plan, which is a very good way to save money for a regular, employee, for the salary class person. So I'm just giving you here, just this is a 10,000 amount SIP. If one is starting, frequency is monthly. Invest for 10 years, 10 years, 10 years, and stay invested for 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years. These are the three scenarios which I am giving for a 10,000 monthly SIP. Invested for 10 years means 10,000 means he is spending for 10,000 every month for 10 years. So 120 installments are there. Rate of return, if it is considered as 8% constant without any inflation or anything, or return of rate is fixed. So amount invested is 12 lakh by each in the each scenario. If someone is person A is doing it for 10 years, person A is doing for 10 years, person C is also doing for 10 years. And number one, person A is invested for 10 years only, B for 15 years, C for 20 years. So total, the amount invested by all these three people is same. But the person who has withdrawn money after 10 years, he will get what is the amount at the 8% of interest. Because of the compounding part also, this has come to 18.42 lakhs. This is one of the illustration which is there. And if the person is invested for 15 years, we just go here, he will get after 15 years 27.06 lakh. If the person C is who has stayed invested for 20 years of time, he will get 39.76 lakhs. So just see the difference in getting invested and long-term benefit of that. The same amount, all three persons are invested, but it is the amount of maturity amount is a big difference in all the three cases. So this is the power of compounding. One should understand it, and this also gives us the disciplined way of investing. Also, this also tells a disciplined way of investing, right? No budget for a rainy day. Normally, everyone don't have that facility that every time they will be full of money and without any money. Everyone has the ups and downs always comes in life. Sometimes it is good, sometimes it is bad. So it is always suggested by all these financial analysts and investment advisors, and also by your elders or family elders in our forefathers, that always have some money for the emergency fund as an emergency, whether at least for the 6 months of the monthly expenses one should have, because in the 6 months is enough, is a sufficient time to get rid of the problem or get the new opportunity and come back to the, so that your things can come back on the track. So this is one thing. Mistakes done by breaking FDs, because if someone is not having this emergency fund for a rainy day, then if any problem comes, they do it. If they have some FDs invested earlier, so they either they break the FDs to meet their running expenses, because there are some fixed expenses which has to be there, like home expenses or school bus, school fees of the children and other things, which you cannot avoid in any case. So just to meet those requirements, one has to either break FDs or other investment, or maybe has to take the loan from some other. Okay. No health insurance. This is another thing which is just a minute, sir. Health insurance is one of the things which is health treatment. Medical treatments are very, very costly nowadays or these days, and it makes a big dent. People do not think the benefit of health insurance, because they see I'm healthy. What is the need of that? Whereas if I say in private sector has given more employment than the government sector. Government sector's benefit of medical benefit is very, very good, and there are hospitals where they can go and get the free treatments. But for a private employee, for a entrepreneur, for a self-employed person, it is very difficult to meet if any big disease is required or any treatment is required. Even a small accidents can take cost say lakhs of rupees, which has to go from their savings only. And in that case, it is always better to take the health insurance. And in the health insurance part, one should take it very, very wisely what type of health insurance they need. And taking the health insurance at an early age is always beneficial, because many of the health insurance companies have certain rules, certain ground rules, like pre-existing disease will not be covered. It will be covered only after 4 years, or there are some things, some lock-in period for that. So this will be covered only after 2 years. So once you are young and fit, better to buy that health insurance in that case and at that time, because by the time you will the keep on renewing the insurance every year will give you the benefit of coming out from all those traps, like 4 years pre-existing disease or lock-in period. So once it is over, then even if that happens, you will not get your claim will not get rejected from the health company, because you have already crossed that limit. So this is one of the big thing one should take it. And health insurance also, in one, it is also said that earlier age health insurance is always cheaper. Once the age is keep on increasing, the health premium, I mean the premium of the same amount is also increasing. Of course, it will increase at the increase of age, but definitely it will give you a lot of other benefits which I have just mentioned. And many people just said, "Oh, I'm not required because I am insured from my company." Many companies do the group insurance policy, and they give it 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs or so. But nobody knows what type of requirement will be there. So my suggestion is that now many companies has started offering a top up health insurance also at a very reasonable price. Even if you have already have a health insurance from your company, it is always better to have it top up, maybe for some 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, and the rate will be cheaper. And it has very small, uh, some basic rules that once that earlier one will be consumed, then only this will be applicable. It's okay, no problem in that. But at least one is covered for a bigger amount. That is, and it is going to be beneficial in any case. Okay. So better be insured at an early age is the child marriage. Sorry, child marriage. This is one of the things which everyone has in their dream. This is the dream of every parent. My child should get married with the right partner at right age, in a good family and everything. And of course, this is the dream of everyone, and it has to be there. No one wants their child should be suffered for any of the reason of the wrong decisions of either of their. But we have a Hippocratic society. People spend more than their capacity and spending their hard-earned savings also on the marriages. Some 50 lakhs of rupees, 70 lakhs of rupees, crores of rupees they spend. They hire some high expensive venues where the cost is also gone high. Sometimes they take loans also from borrowing from the friends and relatives also. On the clothes, it is very much said the 2 lakhs rupees lehenga. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just using the word lehenga because it is a North Indian, but I don't know whether people understand it or not. So this costs a lot, and this type of clothes are only wear at once in life. Even hardly any bride is going to wear her marriage lehenga second time, or maybe if it is wear second time, not third time at all. Spending 1 lakh or 2 lakhs of rupees on this one particular dress, and which is going to be always in the yes, sir.
So we have just 2 minutes to go.
Okay, fine. So this is not the right decision for that. Okay. So, and normally the friends and relatives who comes for to the wedding are mainly coming for to see the food and see the arrangements only. This is hardly a 4 hours show. That's all. So this, my suggestion is that spend wisely on this child's marriage also. Prolonging loan payments. Everyone has a loan, whether it is a car loan or home loan or something like that. So this is more interest part on if you have seen your loan payment repayment schedule, you can find that the initial payments are more on the principal amount than the initial amount. It is good to have for few years till the IT benefit is available. IT income tax benefits is available, and I always suggest to do some partial payments. If possible, close the same once tax benefit is no more liquidity. I'm just giving you one schedule. It is for a 20 lakhs rupees loan taken for 20 years. Just you can see this is the principal part, which is in for the from first month, second month, third month, and first year. I'm just showing here, and this is the interest part. You can just see in first installment, which is paid for 19,000 rupees. Only 2,600 rupees is adjusted as principal and rest in the interest part. So this is one of the things which will go on. Slowly, principal will increase, but interest will reduce. So once you are not having that interest benefit in income tax, I better it is closed down, or maybe pay the some principal amount parallelly, so that the tenure can be reduced. It is good to have a loan insured also, because if something happens, then the problem comes for the higher people after that. So it is always good to have any loan which you have taken is get insured. Buying gold. This is one of the lovable metal, I would say, for all the across the country, across the India is one of the biggest consumer of gold, and highly considered as a support in dry days. Good worth gold worth lakhs is kept in bank lockers only. Even the ornaments is used hardly 4 to 5 times a year. It blocks money and have also having a theft of thing. So rather than investing in ornaments, I would say rather invest in the hard gold, not ornaments, raw gold, or in the gold bonds, which is also open nowadays also, which gives a good, 2.5% interest, and but at least the making charges, other things are saved in that. So which is making charges also to the tune of 25% to 40%, depending on the design. Next, passing on the debt to next generation. This is also one of the thing. The father has taken the loan. Somehow he was not able to pay. Then the loan comes to the his son. So this is also one good thing. One bad thing is there, I would not say. So always, if there is any such case, better to get this loan insured or debt insured from the some thing. Clarity between asset and liability. Excuse me. Liability and asset. These are the two things which normally people understand, but don't take it very seriously. So I would say asset has to be more, I'll always more than the liability. Okay, I'll just give one example here. Which is the asset out of this? Anyone can just unmute and tell me whether this car is an asset or the house is an asset.
House.
House, yes, definitely house is an asset, because car is going to be having the depreciated value in future, and most of the time it has to be sold at a very cheap price. So anything which is any value depreciated in future is a liability. So investment should be based on the considering the asset and liability part also. Procrastinating investment decisions. I will invest from tomorrow or next month, but that next month or tomorrow never comes. I don't have knowledge. Okay, don't have knowledge, no problem. Better consult some professional. I don't have spare money to invest. Okay, make a habit. First save, then spend, rather than first spend, then save whatever is available left for after spending. It is one thing which is there. Lack of patience. Many people are basically are the culprit of this. I mean, victim of this lack of patience. Why? Just a minute. Some investment take time to grow, mainly long-term investments, which has been because I'm saying while this, having the advice of experts or professionals, they also help in making the investments at right time, right place, right product. So getting attracted, double your money in 6 months. Like this type of many things are there, which are a lot of examples are there, a lot of advertisements we can see. Lots of people lose their hard-earned money due to lack of patience, because they want early money, early growth, even faster growth, good interest part, good return in a very shorter time. There is no shortcut of success of anything. This is one side. Success has no shortcut. Success means making a finance corpus is also a goal, and to achieve that goal, one has to be patient for that, and this is also a part of your success part. So success does not have any shortcut. So be patient in your investments and let the money grow and take the help of people, experts is my personal advice. Not discussing with family members. Many people do this mistake. They don't discuss with the family members. Rather, this type of decisions are there. I mean, discussion are more taboo and forbidden in most of the Indian families. There is some problem with discussing the money matters in the family. Investment is more discussed with friends. Head of family or earning members even do not disclose the inflow. It has happened with one of my friends recently. Unfortunately, he died during this early Corona period, and he had a few loans taken from different things. His wife, being a central government employee, where the pension active full formalities are completed within a week time, it took 8 months to settle the pension amount. Why? Because there was no clarity to the family where from he has taken the loan. Either it is PF or some bank or some society. Nobody was having. So they were running here and after. So once they were going to one place in the office, so they're saying, so he had taken the loan from that also. You have to clear that first. You have to clear that first. So it took 8 months to clear all those formalities. Now, just after 8 months, his wife is having that pension. This is the case with one of my close friends. recently happened during Corona. A healthy discussion within family can avoid many future issues. This is one thing I have also experienced in my family. Whenever I discuss, I made all the investment in discussing with my wife at least, and do the investment when both of us are agree to that. Otherwise, I don't do any investment without her consent. So I think discussing this part, and nowadays many, even the grown-up children are also very much educated, and these are the some things which subject which are taught in their studies also sometimes. So they know it is always better to discuss in the family, right? So I will just close my presentation with the saying of Warren Buffett: if you buy things you do not need now, soon you will have to sell things you need. This is one of the big statement and very strong statement given by Mr. Warren Buffett, who has started investing at the age of 12, I would say. So, and now he's one of the, what you can, the ideal for many investors. People follow him like anything. So, thank you very much, Naga.
It's been a fantastic and marvelous presentation, sir. You have given us an overall idea about how people are taking it for granted and how things can be better. Now, with this being said, I just would like to quickly move towards questions and answer session being part of this conclave. So, firstly, I would like to ask you, Raju Lochan Sharma ji, what is the right amount one should save per month? Kindly give me a crisp answer. As we are having another guest, we just would have to ask them to.
Okay,
What's
so
the right
in my
amount?
in my opinion, there is no fixed amount of saving. One should have that depending on the thing in the early age. So it is said that one should at least save 20% of their earnings, whatever the income they are having. They should save 20% of that. But I suggest that in the early age, when the liabilities are not there, it can be 30% or 35% also. Being the person is growing and the liabilities are increasing, family is growing, so it can come down to some 25% or 20%, but not less than 20%, I would suggest.
Fair. So, would you like to see any difference between organized and unorganized sector people in this particular aspect?
Yes, organized and unorganized sector people, organized sector people are having the regular income, whereas the unorganized are having some problems. So it is always better to start with the small savings rather than going for a bigger one. One should do some small savings every month. So that is one thing which can be a big corpus of that over a period of time.
That must be a brilliant answer. Thank you very much. Now, so yes, money. Money in the morning, money in the afternoon, and money in the evening. Money 24 hours. Money is a component which is present ubiquitously in India, in Ireland, in America, everywhere in this world. That is something which pushes our progress, that makes us smile, and that brings laughter and makes us sad too. It is an undeniable point. How about people who are just careless about spending money? They don't mind. One important reason people would attribute for that is they are not earning money because the hard and hard churned amount of money earned by the elders is not actually respected. Bhumika ji, I would like to just to finish this and I will get back to you. Now, Ms. Amandeep Kaur is going to tell us. Ma'am, please respond. What could be the reasons for excessive and frivolous spending? Maybe in metros or else cities, even in the villages. Why? How could we look at this point? Excessive and frivolous.
First of all, many of people maybe know about the impulsive decisions, impulsive disorder basically. So it is like buying unnecessary items which has no use in the present, and most of so first impulsive or excessive spending reason is that impulsive disorder, and secondly is as Rajesh sir has told us that it's show off, because many times people are buy things only to show off, buying big car or buying big house, it's just a show off. And third one is habits. Sometimes people have very different habits or a habit of spending in like alcoholic habits, or maybe you can say party with the friends. So these are the habits which are it's a cause of excessive spending, we can say. And fourth one is the trend. because nowadays we are very much into the trend, buying new things, buying different trending items. So these are the reasons. And one more thing I would like to highlight here, that most of the people live in present, they never think about their future. So that's why they usually have a very excessive spending in the present. As per their present, they spend a lot of money. So these are the reason. I think I have covered most of the reason because of the spendings. What is the I mean, yeah,
Is it due to their passion or fashion? Which
passion
one
or
must
fashion,
must
yeah.
be
Exactly,
So
exactly.
out of they are so passionate and they just would like to spend. It's like fashion. The fashion turns out to be passion one day. Thank you very
Exactly.
much, ma'am. And Neeraj Jain sir, it is needless to say he is an able advisor in financial matters. Yeah, he did his programs, educational programs in Chandigarh, Punjab University. Sir is present with us. He's always busy. It was very hard for us to catch him, but Sir was so genuine and kind enough. Sir, we thank you very much for having accepted. And firstly, I thank Raju Lochan sir for having recommended sir for this particular national conclave. Your words are going to be so valuable. Sir, I have a question for you. Please tell us about the concept of paying off debts with savings. People find it really hard paying off debts. It's a very big journey for them, like going to Kashi from south to north. So, how do you just look at this point? A middle class person like me still has many dreams, like an American dream. I just would like to save money in New Year. Even I have written down more than 20 resolutions which I could not implement. I'm sorry to say this on this public forum. But still, I just would like to get some energy. Give me some tonic. Are people like me who are dithering as how they can go about it? They could be employees or laborers or else entrepreneurs, anyone else, startups. Kindly give us concept of paying off debts with savings. Would like to listen from you, sir.
Uh, Naga, I have been, working with people now for 15 years. Say about 20 years back, getting a loan was a very difficult thing. Now, getting a loan is very easy. As soon as you start a job, your 3 months of salary slip enables you to get any kind of loan that you want. But look back. If your parents have been able to build up all the assets that they needed, why are you wanting to go on an overdrive? You should always build up a reasonable corpus before taking on any debt. Say, let's take the example of a housing loan. Now, if you're in the first year of your job and you want to buy a house, is it advisable? Of course, the American dream motivates you to do too many things. But if you work for 10 years, build a reasonable corpus in the first place, make a reasonable size of down payment. Any debt, say the loan to value should be a reasonable loan to value. See, all companies who disperse these loans are very conscious about this fact of what is the value of the asset and what is the loan that they are giving to the subscriber. We who are taking that loan are not bothered about it. Very first place, be very discreet about how much loan do you want to take against any asset. Second, the asset, as Rajiv ji had pointed out, understand what assets are, right? So start investing into assets. Now that asset, definition of an asset, he said, is car an asset or is house an asset? Anything which can give us returns over a period of time is an asset, right? Third thing I would like to here say is that the secret of creating wealth is, first of all, spend less than what you earn and invest whatever is the surplus into tangible, into things that can help you grow that capital. And over a period of time, that capital has to be used to either plan for your goals or repay these loans that you have. So it's a very generic answer or a very philosophical answer that I've tried to give to you. But I think the root cause is plan well.
That must be really thought-provoking, sir. Thank you very much. So we have many questions to ask you, and please stay tuned. Don't go away, sir. We request you to be here with us until it gets over. Yes, Raju sir, you have given us a complete picture. Just now, Balwinder Singh sir has also appreciated you that you have given us a harsh reality. It would be somehow like pain with pleasure. It's a there is a dichotomy. We have pain, but if we follow it strictly, pleasure comes. Don't we need pleasure? Yes, we do. How about pain? We need to have patience, that you have exemplified in your presentation. I have a question with reference to your PPT. What is the right amount one should have for health insurance? People grossly neglect this. Is it necessary to have health insurance? If that is so, how much one must go for? And what is your advice?
Okay, good, very good question, Naga. The only thing there, first of all, one has to find out that what are the facilities are available. So if one is having a government employee, government is giving the very good medical facilities to their employees, and they can go to any hospital, and even though to the private hospitals also, which are on the panel, and they get benefited without the money. But this facility is not available with the private employees with the public sector, or this private companies, limited companies, or the unorganized sector. So I would say, depending on the person's capability, one should take the health insurance. Minimum 5 lakhs, I would suggest, and it can go up to 25 lakhs if he's increasing and that should be the one. If there is more than one person in the family, it is always better to go for a floater. Floater means anyone can be used, and if you see there are some problems, one must have some top up of that also. Even I have taken it health insurance of 10 lakhs of rupees. If I see in my growing age something can happen to me, I must have a top up of that. So maybe up to 20 lakhs or 25 lakhs, and that will be at a very cheaper rate also.
Right,
Even
sir.
I would suggest, if someone is insured with the company also, they should also have some good separate insurance, because company's insurance is only applicable till the time you are working there. Once you leave the company, join somewhere else, that is not available. Right? By that, for God's sake, if something has happened during that period, in the transition period, you are not without medical. So it is always better to have a additional health insurance. Depending on that, 5 lakhs should be the minimum one, and it can go up to 10, 20, 25 lakhs as per my advice.
That must be a credible answer. I think people must definitely have to think about that. And those who have already neglected, being so complacent as nothing would happen for them in their lives, must have to think twice. Your suggestions would absolutely help people get out of the risk of being completely unrecognized one day when they really go out of their finances. In this context, we have been asked by Jayanti from Pune. Madam would like to put a question for you. Jayanti, madam, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I cannot switch on my video as I'm outside. Raju sir, my question is, I'm always confused where to invest. Suppose if I'm invested for so many years in, for example, say LIC. So now I am in a stage where I have to invest more because I'm free from all those home loans, car loans, whatever. I have attended one lecture from that financial advisor. 2 more I have to attend. In the one lecture only, I got confused. And
Right.
I'm
Sir has understood, ma'am, it seems. Raju sir, over to you.
whether I should close all those, whether I should go for new. So what would you suggest, sir? You should keep always in multiple these things?
Okay. So Jayanti madam, very good question. Normally, in India, we were having a culture of having insurance for the tax saving earlier. Then it has come for the investment part. As far as my understanding is concerned, I was also having so many insurances, but slowly when I understood all those things, I closed all those things. And in my opinion, one should have one term insurance, which is a must for each and every one. Another one is the health insurance. And even if it is required, out of these two are the must. And if anything is required, then one can go for a pension plan. But pension plan is again one thing which is, apart from these three, I don't think there is any other insurance is required. Even if you have some money, it is better to invest in some other, either in the SIP or in some bonds, and take the help of investment professionals. So they will help you. So for to protect oneself, one insurance, term insurance, is more than sufficient for all this debit and debts, all this, because once there is a problem with the person, or maybe at any, if you have very plenty of money, can go for one endowment policy, not more than that. That is my suggestion to the.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, it is believed that people have to be sagacious enough in terms of their money management. From time immemorial, people have been negligent to some extent. In the same colony, in the same area, in the same village, some people are becoming rich, whereas the other sections of people become poorer and poorer. It doesn't have to be equated with the caste or color and creed. It's all about attitude towards how we manage. So to get more ideas regarding this, we just want to ask a question, sir. It is for Neeraj sir. We have emergencies sometimes. We don't know how that emergency knocks at the door, and when we all of a sudden we have kind of tumultuous problems in the family, we definitely have to have a good amount of money. If we have to save some amount in terms of emergency funds, where should one keep them? Similarly, should it be in the banks or in the form of FDs or somewhere else?
I think Rajiv sir explained the concept of emergency funds very clearly in one of his slides. One should have at least 6 months of his earnings parked in emergency funds, and the Corona times have taught us a this very important lesson, maybe the hard way, for people who have maybe lost jobs or have been laid off or something like that. Now, the emergency funds, as the name suggests, should not be subject to any volatility. So, placing them in banks, in FDs, should be definitely the preferred way. Definitely. And, these days you've got mutual funds, which are called liquid funds or low duration funds. These are funds which can also be considered to park these funds. At times, mutual funds give better returns than FDs. That is why one needs to take a look at them. So, as I said, no volatility, easy access. They should be very safe. They should be reasonably liquid, and they should give us a reasonable return. Reasonable return here means only inflation plus returns, about inflation returns. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. When we think about money management, so we definitely know that there will be some problems. We have different personalities within the family. Father is so careful about spending every single buck, whereas children, it could be a daughter or else a son, being attracted, because these days we have new millennials. These guys are so trendy, they want to do many things else. Now, there is a concept called living paycheck to paycheck. I believe some of you might have heard this, living paycheck to paycheck. I have a question regarding this. Amandeep Kaur madam, kindly do respond. What is this concept? How can we understand this living paycheck to paycheck, and how does this trend affect the large portion of populace?
See, living of paycheck to paycheck simply means that our monthly income cover only our monthly expenses. No extra money for saving. We cannot meet the emergency fund emergencies like pandemic. We have just faced the pandemic, illness. If there is sudden illness, or you have might heard about the layoff, so you are not meeting that emergencies basically. And for any people to know how far that particular person is far from the living paycheck to paycheck, there are only 4 questions you must have asked from yourself. First of all, do you have money in saving? First question is that. Must ask this question from yourself. Do you have money in saving? If yes, is it sufficient, or is it covering your at least 2-month expenses? And third one is, how quickly you can access that money. Is it very easy to liquidate that money? If you can easily access that, or is it? And fourth question is that is it like, is there any penalty you have to pay or something, some amount you have to repay to collect that money, to access that money? So these are the 4 questions you must ask, and then you can easily understand that how much you are far from living to living paycheck. And obviously trend is obviously like, sir Rajesh sir has already, give a very brief of about how trend is affecting the large populace, because you are buying unnecessary items due to the trends. So this way you can understand the concept.
Your answer reminds me, ma'am. Thank you very much of electronic gadgets I purchased over the past 5 years. Off late I have seen, after I have picked this topic to deal with, whether I should have to be responsible for any kind of blame that I receive. I have got in the cupboard more than 20 items of electronic gadgets of the same type. I purchased on Amazon. Now I am not using any of them, but they have been kept aside. As Pongal is approaching, I may have to dispose them off very quickly. Your point is absolutely true, ma'am. We become, the impulse purchase, as Sir has rightly has mentioned, is something that is gnawing our brains and creating problems, throwing us into bottomless perditions. We have to come out of that. Guys, those who really have this kind of attitude, even I have become prey for this, please don't become prey, and be aware of your balanced mindset and then do everything wisely. Now, Raju sir, people have many dreams. The first dream is money. How much money would you like to have? The answer would be infinite. From cutting across all sections, people do not hesitate and they don't mince words to say this answer. How about their capacities? When it comes to unemployment, a person who finishes Bachelor of Engineering program and gets a job, he is a fresh graduate and fresh job holder. He starts thinking about marriage, simultaneously constructing a house. So the point is, what is your take on spending? What is the right insurance and what one should buy for the sake of his life as an employee who starts, career, who definitely have different dreams of buying this and that. So please tell us about insurance.
Okay, very good, Naga. So once, as you have given the example of the person who has passed out from the college and getting the job, so he must be very career-oriented type of person. So in that case, I would suggest that one should buy an insurance immediately after passing out from the college once get the job, because he has to pay the premium of that. So minimum 1 CR, 1 crore insurance he must pay, and depending on that, once he grows, it can be further increased as per the requirement. And once the family is there, when he got married, have children also going to school, then based on the requirement, monthly requirement, one should plan how to, how much amount is required to run the family in his absence. That is what I'm saying. I'm using this word, in his absence. So it depends on person to person, and family to family, that how much money they will require, minimum amount to at least meet the fixed expenses of every month of the family. It could be a house rent, it could be a school fees, it could be some home expenses, regular home expenses also. So that depends, but definitely the amount should be more than enough of the monthly expenses. And the insurance part, because many of the companies do not give the insurance to unemployed women. I would say unemployed women. Many companies do not offer. But there are many plans where there are companies who are offering a joint term plan also, joint insurance also for that. So I think every person in the family must be insured with as the person is adding, he should be added to that thing, and maybe some extra premium if it is going, it is okay to give, but that will save a lot in some rainy days time. It will help a lot in the rainy days time. Your second question, about the dream house, spending on the dream house. Again, that is very much thing, because now all this young generation is very mobile. So they keep moving from place to place, location to location, from one city to another city for the growth. And buying a big house in one city and shifting to another one, then renting out, whether renting or not renting and not getting anything, and paying the EMI as well as the maintenance amount for that thing, is something which is already taking a lot of your savings and your hard-earned money in that. So about spending. You can spend 20 lakhs of rupees only in kitchen in a house. That is also there. Or you can spend 10 lakhs of rupees only in the bathroom.
Yes,
That
sir.
is also there. So it is again, it is again the how much gadgets or how much things you want. Even nowadays, people are just controlling all the electricity gadgets and or through phone, through mobile.
Right,
So that
sir.
is also there. So again, there is no limit of spending in a house. One should see their spending, their earnings, and then only decide. And I would tell one thing here. Then those who buy a big house in initial ages, and when their children goes, and many of the families are there who are having the problem because they are of old age. They had a big house, but they are only 2% living in a big house. Their children are settled abroad or settled somewhere else. They comes hardly once in a year. So all this big house is becoming liability at that old age. So it should be very wisely. This decision has to be taken very wisely. What is the future plans? And many people have the love there, though I have purchased, I will
Right,
not
sir.
sell it. That should not be there. So
Right, sir.
if it is not a requirement, shift to another one place, sell it out, and extra money, use it for their, growth of
Right, sir.
money, and spend somewhere where it can help you out.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. The perspective of the people has to change, as things can never be in our hands. If people are not really realistic about whether they can manage with things they have, it will be difficult for the future generations. Your ideas will absolutely awake the mindsets of the people who have been under passive mode, that they don't realize their responsibility, sir. There is some kind of statement usually we come across in the families. Our elders say, failing to plan is planning to fail. But we never accept failure. We always want to be successful. When it comes to families budgeting, how many people, 1.3 billion, this population of the entire country, how many of them are really concerned about their family's budget? How long do they sustain that kind of list? Do they really continue 365 days? Or is it for just 1 month or 2 months? To give us more insights about this, Neeraj Jain sir, kindly, what is your take on family's budgeting? Kindly tell us about an ideal family's budget.
Naga, I'll just recall Rajiv sir's slide, or Rajiv sir's, during his presentation, he had said that when we are young, we have got relatively large surpluses. So that phase, as from when we start our employment till about 45 years of our age, is the acquisition phase of our life. And we should continue to save more and more and more. See, budgets are very short-term things, but goals are very long-term. Now, for a typical family, middle-class family, children's education, higher education, children's marriage, self-retirement, these are long-term goals. And unless we start planning for them very early on, it'll be very difficult for us to, at the end of the term, at the end of say 55, 60 years of our age, we would be falling short of cash. Now, here during the acquisition phase, we should try. Rajiv sir said 20% at least. Now, if we continue to do that during the acquisition phase and have thought through asset allocation, equity, debt, bonds, etc., all these stuff, I think if we plan well in the acquisition phase, in the distribution phase, say from 45 years onwards to about 60 years till we retire, that is the point where we need the most surpluses to be available with us. And 60 years onwards, when we retire, we should have enough money so that we can beat inflation and retire peacefully. So these are three phases that one has to be cognizant about and plan accordingly.
So, Neeraj sir, with being said, actually, with reference to this particular family's budgeting, people have many complaints regarding never-ending payments. They become slaves to the banks or else outside pawnbrokers. They just keep paying sums and throughout the lives, from energy to the less energy levels. How to handle this?
So again, going back to Rajiv sir's slide, he said that don't save what is left after spending. spend what is left after saving.
Oh,
Right.
great.
And Buffett also says that, if you buy things that you don't need, someday you will have to sell the things that you do need.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think these are things. It is only about discipline, Naga. I
Right.
think at the end of the day, the more we discipline ourselves, we have to increase our earning capacity by investing into ourselves, into skilling ourselves, constantly upgrading our knowledge levels. I think if we continue to do that, we make ourselves inflation proof. We make ourselves indispensable for the organizations that we work for. I think as soon as we are able to do that, I think that asset liability mismatch, that always will work in our favor. So discipline is the only, we just need to discipline ourselves. And it is very simple. Spend less than what you earn and save the rest for a long period of time into good assets.
Thank you so much, sir. Your justification for the equilibrium status. In physics, we have our equilibrium. That equilibrium has to be maintained towards both assets and liabilities. Somehow, assets could be going up as people are so proactive in making good, fortunes. With this particular reference, Anandji madam, please tell us about the investment planning and what is the right age for the people that you could suggest. And have you taken any such decisions so far in your life? Correct me if I can ask you this question. So what is the right age for the investments? It should be useful for both young graduates and post-graduates, people who are into the employment post this COVID, who have been completely disturbed. Your answer will help us.
Okay. So when I was looking for this answer, like what is the right age for starting investment? Then a very intelligent person, that was an old guy, under whom I was getting training. That guy has told me that there is a one period which is best for investment, that is 10-year back. First period is 10-year back, and second period is now. Just do it right now. If you have started right now, this is your first step. Just take a first step first. Don't go for a big amount or a big lot in a per month basis. Just do it right now with the small amount. You can go for mutual fund or any type of investment. Even PPF, you can say it's started with the 500 per month only, per year, sorry, not per month, per year 500 only. So
Right.
do it right now. This is the best age. Whenever you just get the idea that you have to invest, start investing, just do it on spot.
Right.
I would like to say that just for the old people who's listening this, just do it today itself.
Right.
It is,
And what is your take on newly married couple, madam? Newly married couple in India. In fact, let us look at the middle class and below middle class families. They do not have the plan of action usually, because mostly they depend on unorganized sector of earnings, and they become small wagers too. And when it comes to their savings, how can they really plan their career for future educational purposes of the children? And what is your best suggestion for them, that who would like to have this kind of early phase of their married life in terms of money gains? So most of them they go overboard. They are rather crazy in spending money. What's your take on that?
I think Neeraj sir can answer this because he well understands this question.
Okay, Neeraj, please.
Again, I think I answered this question in in the family budgeting question that you asked. So the first initial phase where your expenses are less and your income is more, continue to build up your savings. I think that is the most important thing. Second is plan. Inflation is the biggest enemy that we have besides improper planning. So we should understand, like say if my son is to go to for higher education and I am budgeting 30 lakh of rupees today, say at today's cost, in 10 years time this 30 lakhs is going to become 60 lakhs.
Right.
That is the cost. So if we look at inflation, both in health and in education, we've had the maximum inflation. That is why when Rajiv sir says that it is important to have adequate health insurance, it is very, very vital that we have adequate health insurance. And similarly, we have to build up our savings and adjust them for inflation to meet our goals. I think that is where, see, if you just Google on say a financial calculator, and you just plot in expenses say 10 years down the road, you will be able to easily plan how much money that you need to save every month to meet that goal. It is not a big deal. All you need to do is save, 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 and save.
That must be so promising and so wonderful, sir, and that enthuses the spirits of the people who really have kept aside and who still feel themselves that they have been, completely battered by the COVID or something else. Do not procrastinate. Be proactive. Your words would definitely push these passive mindsets. Now, we definitely want to learn many things from you, especially the kind of services you offer, because we may have to approach you. You are the best people in your chosen fields, and your fields would impact our lives, and your expertise is to be potentially tapped. If people want to approach you, Neeraj Jain sir, what kind of services would you offer for people through your organization? Kindly tell us.
Right. See, we are a boutique organization which is now serving people for 16 years with integrity and reliability. If we can segment what we do is number one, we help people plan for their future, and those plans we try to automate. Financial plans, right? Help automate those financial plans so that the discretion is taken out and discipline is brought into the process. We help them monitor these plans on a regular basis so that they are able to achieve their goals, achieve their financial goals. That is one. Second, we are in the business of wealth management. We help people preserve wealth. We help people invest into products which are enabled to maximize wealth.
Right, sir.
So these are two areas, and because over the last say 30 years, we've got enough of experience about products.
Right, sir.
So we are able to pick and choose products. We are not product sales people. We don't go to our customers saying, "Sir, let's buy this and that." No, it is based on a customer's need.
Right.
See, most times customers have a need, but they don't know how to fulfill that need. At times, they don't even know what their need is. So by virtue of the fact that we're dealing with so many families, we have a fairly good understanding of helping people in the activities that I've just mentioned.
That must be so promising, sir. If people want to approach you, where can they find you, sir? In Haryana or New Delhi?
See, we've got 4 offices in North India.
Okay.
But so it is Faridabad, Delhi, Chandigarh, and Himachal. So we've got 4 offices. But again, I think you have our contact. So in case somebody wants, you can direct them to us.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. So for giving us, the permission to guide the people, whoever approaches, would definitely give the address and kindly we motivate the people to approach you. Thank you very much, sir. And Amandeep Ji Kaur, kindly, ma'am, please tell us about your final points for the betterment of the students. What kind of solutions would you like to give for the students in India and abroad?
For students, first of all, they should know the self-control. They should know what habits they have in spending, and they should control. If there is a habit like alcoholic habit or some type of you can say spending a lot on fashion, then they must have a self-control on that. Secondly, they should manage or they should make a list of all the recurring expenses where their spending is going, where the money is going basically. So they must make a list of all the expenses. And further we can say, for the finance student, they should understand that they do not supposed to work for money. Money will work for them basically, because there is a concept like, if you work for money, then it always escape from your side. And if you let the money work for you, definitely you will gain that. So gain a knowledge first, gain knowledge, then work accordingly, then money will be of course in your side. And of course, Rajiv sir has already told us that they must know about the difference between what are the assets and what are the liabilities exactly. So if you consider, most of the time, while preparing, when we preparing balance sheet, so we usually put vehicles on the asset side, because we know it's a depreciating, but still it's a kind of asset for them, because that's a financial. But in originally or in real life, it is actually a expense, you can say, because it's depreciated their values. So these are the 4 points which I will suggest to them.
That must be so great, ma'am. Thank you so much. When it comes to your profile, it's so impressive. People might be interested in learning and approaching you too. Being an IBBI registered valuer, what would people get out of it if they really want to take your services? And if you are an IITD trainer too, how would you like to, organize your sessions in the future if people want to have?
So, see, being a valuer, I provide services to the corporate or to the startups, we can say startups or the joint ventures where they need fund, or where they supposed to get merged with the another firm. So accordingly, we provide valuation, we provide the professional valuations to them. And being a trainer, I usually provide. Being a trainer, as I have provided the motivational speech to them. So related to the all motivational speeches, definitely we will go ahead with the same.
So you will motivate people across education institutions and banking sector and various organizations, right?
Yes.
People can approach you for that. Thank you so much, ma'am. Would you please allow us to give your address and email address and any phone number if people ask for?
Sure, you can get.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And Raju sir, finally, would like to conclude the session. The actual schedule is just until 12 o'clock. We have passed it, and now it is 6 minutes past 12. The question for you is: see, it's a never-ending process, like rising consumerism and expectations of people, and you are also an engineer. You know very much about the cost of materials, how they have gone high up to the sky, sky level, and these days many people have many questions. Basically, we are in the trap of rising consumerism, especially these online markets, online marketing. People's pulses have been already captured through digital strategies, marketing strategies, and people become easily trapped. Your take is very important on rising consumerism, unending impulse buying, and unstable revenue flows. This actually we experienced last year in 2020. Still, it is going to be for some time. Maybe we are at the fag end of this particular pandemic. We don't know exactly, but people personally feel that this is something like that. Please, sir, kindly tell us.
This impulse buying is one of the things which really hampers the entire budget of the people, and getting trapped from this discount sales and other things. And nowadays, if you visit any of the site like Flipkart or Amazon, and what if you see any product, so related to that product, people there are so many related products will keep on coming on that screen to people who buy this has also bought this, people who buy this also bought this. So they will attract you to buy more and more and more and more. They don't know your financial. They are just concerned for their profit and benefit. And I heard that for listing of a product, I mean, just to say the cost of the product and the price MRP, there is a big difference in that. So because a lot of money is distributed in between to the mediators, like to promote my product on Amazon or Flipkart, at least I have to pay 15% commission to the Amazon or this cart, and then I have to consider my profit, then the returns of that also. Then all these things has to So 100 rupees product becomes rupees 250 products. Product, so which is not right. So it is always better to have the understanding comparison before buying any of the things. So that is one of the consumer is nowadays people do a lot of research before buying anything. So they give for the consumer rating of the product, whether it is a 4-star rating or 5-star rating. And many of the times people once you buy a product or once you get the product, people force you to give a higher rating. Like if you are utilizing the services of Uber or Ola, the moment you get out of the car, taxi, they ask for, sir, please give us a good rating. So this is one of the things which is really not at some point of time. A good rating gives a good indication, but many of the time it is a misguiding thought also. So these type of things, consumer are very much nowadays demanding. I have in my journey of consumer service, in my services, I have seen a lot of change in the consumer behavior has come. And similarly, companies are also changing their attitude towards consumer. They are trying more and more facilities to consumer, trying to reach them faster, trying to maintain their ego as well. Earlier, when after some 20-25 years back, if some TV engineer was coming to my house, he was like a god. But now if someone is coming half an hour late, he is being asked by the customer, why you are late, so late? I have some another appointment for that. So changing in the consumer demand and consumer expectations is a lot of things which one has to consider a lot. And not getting trapped is one of the things which everyone has said. Saving at the right time, right now today is the right day to start the same anything. That is what is coming out. So
thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. Raju Lochan Sharma ji, your ideas are really vibrant. They will create tremors in every mind from today. Those who take a look at this video being published afterwards on YouTube too. We are very much happy for this. And before we wind up this session, in the presence of all the esteemed and respected guests across the world, we have a guest from Kuwait, sir is Balwinder Harbhajan Singh. Sir, we are so much thankful to you for having attended for our national conclave. And Raju ji, sir, tell us how would you help, towards giving your services to the people. So for what they might approach you. You are an engineer, having more than 30 years of experience, and you have recently become an alumnus of Indian Academy of Training and Development, Tamil Nadu. So what kind of services would you like to offer for the public?
So, Mr. Naga, this is something like that based on the experience which I am having. I have worked in consumer service, so I know the consumer pulse and consumer expectations. So behavioral skills and what are the things, whether it is a frontliners or the back-end people team, or maybe from the consumer point of view, motivational team building, all these things I can be reached out at any point of time, for which I will love to have that team building activities and the motivational behavioral skills, consumer satisfaction, NPS, Net Promoter Score improvement, what are the things need to be done. And maybe for this, whatever the touch points are there for a consumer or to buy a product, whether before buying or after buying also.
Thank you very much. Before we wind up, some participants have expressed their willingness to share their views and they might still ask, but it is only for 60 seconds, 1 minute for each participant. Revati Devi madam, right. Balwinder Harbhajan Singh sir, may I expect your response? Any suggestions or your opinion on this remote national conclave? Sir, please, over to you. Please turn on video. I'd like to see you. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Morning, everyone. It was really an excellent, the best of webinars I have ever attended. And I'm really very thankful for Remol for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this excellent webinar. And I would like to thank all the speakers who have really motivated and created an awareness, especially among the NRI. I would like to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart. And I expect Remol to make me a partner in every of their webinars.
Sure, sir.
Thank you very much. Actually, I cannot open my web because, but thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. All my gratitude towards the speaker and Remol. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. Anyone who would like to share their views?
Polygamy, sir, I would like to say something.
Yeah. So,
Firstly, the program was awesome. Lot of learning. I was just observation was that very impactful information we have gathered, and this will help me to
thank you, sir.
deliver back to the people.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
So I am thankful to each of the
Morning,
people, and I will love to be the part of the team.
Oh, sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Would like to
Okay.
have you. Sure. Good morning. Who's
Good
this?
morning.
Everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Revati Devi, madam, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Do you recognize me, sir? I'm Dr. Revati.
Yeah, you are from Kuwait, I think.
Yes, sir.
Saudi
King
Arabia.
Khalid.
Yeah, you are from Saudi
Yes,
Arabia.
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. From there, I'm calling. Really, it is a very helpful seminar, sir. This webinar is reminded me the poem "If," as you know, that Rudyard Kipling.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be, we have to feel the same when we have the money or not. Due to lack of plan, we are misleading the money. And your suggestions and your guidelines are very much helpful to us. How we have to manage this financial crisis and how we have to take care of the future and everything. Indeed, it is a very helpful webinar, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Revati ma'am,
Yes, sir.
one second. Which university are you working now?
King Khalid University.
Oh, great opportunity I've got. Congratulations, ma'am. So great.
Thank you very much. Associate Professor, I got in that university.
Congratulations, ma'am. So great of you. So great of you for having considered to be part of this program. I thank especially Neeraj Jain sir from New Delhi for having given us this wonderful opportunity, and he has shared very wonderful and thought-provoking points which will definitely shape our planning concern. And I thank especially Amandeep Kaur madam, who has, despite all her busy schedules, accepted to be part of this program, and she has brought us a very few wonderful points which would definitely be helpful for us. I thank Raju Lochan Sharma ji for having been with us all through this program since its inception, and sir who actually shared with me about this topic and actually told us that okay, it would really be useful in the new year as this would have to be implemented. This session has been actually surfaced with the view to tell all the audiences across the world that years come and just go, weeks come and slip into oblivion, and later months and years. But how about change? It is Raju Lochan Sharma's novel thought that giving some awareness on financial management and destructive thoughts, how people become so captivated in. If they are guided, they would definitely make good progress. This is how it has been planned. I thank especially Sri Raju Lochan Sharma sir for having come forward and having introduced Neeraj Jain sir from Delhi and Haryana. Maybe he's from other part of India. And today we all thank on behalf of Remold all the guests who have taken participation in this program, and this is a very special experience for us. Thank you so much. We will conduct many more such national congresses and webinars. Please patronize us and also kindly approach us for your institutional faculty development programs or any technical programs or any motivational and training and development programs. We have around more than 100 top-notch trainers with us, and these people will handle the issues of various sorts. And we have specially designed programs for you to be conducted on virtual platforms, so you can easily approach us, and always we are there at your doorstep to help you. And money doesn't matter, but knowledge sharing is very important, because sharing is caring. With this being said, I would like to take leave of you. With this,
Thank you.
kindly give your feedback in the registration link. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Naga, and all Neeraj Jain, Amandeep,
Thank
and
you,
all
sir.
the esteemed guests for listening so patiently. And thanks for your encouragement also. We will come with some more topics. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Neeraj sir, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you,
Amanji,
sir.
thank you. Raju ji, thank you. Radhakrishna sir, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And all the guests and delegates.